Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of In the Spotlight. I'm Mike Kenichi. I'm very happy tonight to have on. He's in his second year as the head coach of the St.Joes cadets hockey team. Great guy as well, and it is my pleasure to welcome to the show Chris Nelson. And Coach, I want to thank you for coming on today. It's a real honor.
Yep, thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate it.
So, Chris, in a lot of ways, this is really your first full season. I know you were there last year, but it was kind of shortened by COVID. Tough time to start the season in February, but just talk to me a little bit about that. How was that for you as a first-year coach, kind of starting out in a unique situation?
Yeah, it was definitely unique. Fortunately, I'd been with the kids for most of their careers since, the seniors that year. I was there when they became freshmen with the late coach Eddie Lemaire. So it made it even more unique taking over for, one of my best friends who had passed away tragically during the off season. So
Right.
it was extra unique taking over in that situation. But, fortunately, I knew the kids, I knew the families, knew the school administration, and they were all helpful during that period where we were mourning the loss of Coach Eddie Lemaire. And I felt it important to, stay involved after that and help guide the kids through that situation. We did a good job healing that first season. So a lot of the kids were still, very beat up, understandably so, after going through a loss like that. So,
how was that season for your seniors last year? Because they missed out on a lot. They did get 13 games, thankfully, which was better than nothing. But just talk about those seniors from last year, because that had to be tough for their final year of hockey. To kind of
it was different. It was also the first year we had changed the FCAC rules. So we were playing 10 games were against the other D1 FCAC teams, and then one game against Trumbull and one game against NDF. So it was a very tough schedule for us that year. We didn't have some of the other games that we were accustomed to having. So we were pleased with how competitive we played. The seniors really skated hard. The record wasn't as great as we wished it would be that year. We did have one very big upset against Greenwich that the kids were very happy about, and the coaching staff was very happy about. But more importantly, we were more competitive in all of the games than we had been in previous years. So we felt we took great strides as a program to become more competitive in the D1 FCAC world.
Right. How was it, Coach, playing with no fans, though? That had to be really strange. I know a lot of teams have done it, and they obviously did it in professional sports for a while. But was it weird not playing in front of a crowd?
It was different, but the kids at this age, they have been used to playing with no fans before. They're midget seasons; they rarely have anyone more than parents, and I think the kids just buckled down and all really focused on the goal, which is winning the game. And if one of those pieces of motivation, which could be the fans, is taken out of the mix, they just focus on motivating each other and trying to pick each other up. A little more vocal on the bench, kind of cheering for each other when they block a shot or take a hit to make a play, or score a goal, and try and replace some of that emotion that they can draw from the crowd and replace it with kids on the bench that are motivating each other and encouraging each other.
Right. And Coach, this season, which we'll get to in a second, but one of the things that was really good about the players you have right now is the dedication they showed throughout the off season. They were playing hockey all spring, all summer, fall. I mean, these kids were really dedicated and committed to, the sport and St. Joe's hockey. So just talk about the commitment they made throughout the off season.
Yeah, we're very lucky at St. Joe's. One thing I like to say is, the school really does a great job of giving us the tools and giving the kids the tools to excel. Whatever they're willing to put into it, they'll be able to get out of it because they are getting every tool they could have to really push themselves and to get better, both on the ice and off the ice. We're very fortunate at the school. We have a strength and conditioning coach. Her name's Alicia Thresher, and she's done a remarkable job with
very nice person.
Yep. She's done a remarkable job with all of the athletic teams at the school, and the students who aren't involved in athletics as well. But specifically, the hockey kids, this was the first year where the entire off season, so all of the spring and summer, we were in the gym 4 days a week. at the school.
Right.
So they opened a beautiful new gym at the school a couple years ago, and it's really state of the art. And Alicia does a great job. So they were in the gym 4 days a week on the off season. They were all playing together, and the SCHL and various other teams around the area. So they were on the ice multiple times a week, in the gym multiple times a week, and we had fantastic attendance. The kids really made a decision that they wanted to help build the program into a recurring force in D1 FCX. So that's really been the focus. That's what we've been focusing on and working towards. And we're not there yet, but we're doing a good job to get there. So I'm very pleased with our progress, and the kids' dedication is the only reason we've started to take the strides we've been starting to take.
Coach, you talk about dedication, and one player on your team who I watch him play all the time, and he just wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's your senior captain, Trevor Kellogg. Just talk about him a little bit, because he has been a terrific captain. I mean, every time you watch him on the ice, he's putting his body on the line all the time and just wants to win, and has really been a tremendous leader for you guys this year.
Yeah, I've known Trevor for many years now. I was coaching with the Riverhawks in years past when he was a player with the Riverhawks. So I've known him and his family for a long time. They're great people, fantastic family, and Trevor's a great kid. That's why there was no question that he was going to earn the captaincy this year as one of the two full captains on the team, and John McNabola was a great assistant captain. But Trevor specifically is. I want to say a very emotional player, where he will do anything to win the game. He will take that hit, he will block a shot, and he will skate until he's about to pass out. And he really sets the tone for a lot of the players on the team in practice as well. Even when you don't see him, under the lights of a game, he's working on his craft, pushing all of the kids to skate their hardest at practice and to really drill everything down. So he's been a fantastic leader this year.
Right. And Coach, we know how important the goalie position is. And
Yep.
one thing I've seen throughout the season is how well your goalie has played every game. He has gotten better and better. And, it was a shame against Trumbull the other night, because he had so many saves in that game. So just talk about your goalie, because your senior goalie, he's been tremendous this year.
Yeah, so I do want to. You brought up the Trumbull game, which give compliments to their goal. Adam Gutman, he played a fantastic game as well. We got a lot of shots on him, so he played a fantastic game. But Tyler Stewing's been a rock for us for 2 years now. He's been fantastic. He works hard every day in practice. He shows up focused. He really works on the things that he needs to improve on. And he's focused on that, and it's really shown. So the past couple of years, he's taken strides. I don't think I've seen, another goalie, kind of get that much better in that shorter period of time. So I also need to credit, we are fortunate to have a goalie coach in Zach Carano. He also worked with the Post University girls team and the Riverhawk organization as a goalie coach, and he's amazing. So he really takes the goalies under his wing. Really, works hard with them. They're very position specific skills they work on. And, he takes time during practice with each of them individually to work on things that they individually can improve. And, the kids buy into it. And when the kids buy into it and you've got a great coach, working with you, it's amazing what you can do. But Tyler, we're definitely very fortunate to have Tyler between the pipes for us.
Right. And I mean, tremendous game. The last 2 games, he just was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you talk about goalies. I believe you have 2 goalies for the future as well. You have 11th grade goalie, and you have a freshman goalie as well.
No, we have
correct?
2 freshman goalies.
2 freshman goalies.
Tyler.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep. John Kennedy.
Anthony Gelosa, yeah.
Yep, and Anthony Gelosa.
And talk about them a little bit, because, Coach, they've been playing hockey a long time, too. You mentioned Riverhawks. I believe Anthony I'm familiar with a lot. He's been playing goalie for Riverhawks for a long time as well.
Yes, Anthony was actually on a squirt team with me and Coach Eddie Lemaire as the coaches. MJ Torrey was on that team, who's on our St.Joes team now. Colton Runig was on that team, who's on our St.Joes team now. Brady Tomasi. Yeah, so we had a good group there of kids who, came in to St. Joe's after that year. We had a great year that year. So I've known Anthony for a very long time, since he was 8 or 9 years old playing for that team. And he loves his position. He loves the sport, and he
Right.
works hard to get better at it. I know Coach Carano has been very impressed with him in practice, and his work ethic, the way he tracks pucks, the way he pays attention and reads plays. He's always set. So we're excited about him in the future. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up John Kennedy as well, who came in. I did not know John previously before he came to St.Joes. I do know his father is a great guy, but John as well in practice, is very focused on his craft, works very hard, and the minute they learn quickly that the minute they goof off, Coach Carano will crack the whip on them a little bit.
Right.
And so they picked it up right away. They took Stewie's lead, and Tyler really kind of played a mentorship role to him so far this year, and all three of them have gotten very close and close with Coach Carano, and they've been all getting much better as the days go by.
Right, and both freshmen have been rotating in at the JV level, I would imagine.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're both playing, about half the games at the JV level to get them as much experience at the high school level as possible.
Right. Coach, another player that I've been very impressed with this year, and he is one of the fastest skaters I've seen, and that's Andrew Tate. Talk about Andrew, because he is all
Andrew
over
Tata.
the ice. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said his name wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Tata. Andrew came in, and he's a junior this year. His freshman year, he may have been, 4'10" and weighed 90 pounds soaking wet. And I believe he went on a family vacation for a few weeks in the middle of the season. And I have to be honest that when he came back, I didn't even know his name. He disappeared for a while, and I knew he was on the team, but he wasn't there often. And he blossomed into a physical specimen. He's in the gym all the time now, working on his strength, and he's put in the effort. His puck skills now and his skating have improved from his freshman year 1,000%. He's really become one of our best players. Defensively, he's very smart. He's got great hands, wicked release on his shot. And he's another player who will skate until he's about to pass out, and take a shot off the head for the team. So we're very lucky to have him, and he's another player who really put in the effort to get better and to excel.
Right. Coach, you start a lot of underclassmen, which is definitely great because it's going to give these kids experience, and it gives you a great stepping stone into the next season. Talk about some of these underclassmen, though. They've really performed well for you. I know you've got quite a few juniors and a couple sophomores starting for you. So talk about them a little bit.
Yeah. It's the underclassmen have really stepped up and earned starting. We do only have 3 seniors this year. So, we have no choice but to start a lot of young kids, but that doesn't take anything away from the fact that I think they all really worked hard to get there.
Right.
Two freshmen in particular who are pulling some minutes for us are Caden Mitchell on defense. Yeah. Caden was another kid who was on that Squirt B team with the rest of them. And I've known him and his family forever. They're great people. Caden's a great kid. He works hard. And he stepped into a role where we're playing, mostly 4 defensemen for the vast majority of the year in varsity games. And he's out there every other shift and in unique situations and penalty kills, getting some power play time on the second unit. And he's really stepped up. The high school game, especially at the Division I level, is much, much faster than any of the youth hockey, these kids have played previously.
Right.
And, it was a quick learning curve for him, and he really stepped up. We're very proud of him and the progress he's made so far this season. And Casper is another player. He's got a real long Polish last name that starts with a Z, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But Casper is a great kid, and he really works hard. He's another player who's physically strong. He can keep up with these, top upperclassmen players from the different schools, and he grinds hard. He skates as hard as he can, and he battles as hard as he can every time he's on the ice. So we're very happy that Casper is a part of the program as well.
Right. And you got like I said, a few sophomores, several juniors starting. So it gives you so much optimism going into the next season. And these kids have really played well this year. And the thing of it is, coaches, I know some of them, you could tell they've played a little hurt, which is what a coach always appreciates about kids,
Yes.
because you could tell the other night a couple of them were a little nicked up, and they really came on the other night and played hard for you. So I mean, the future really looks bright for St.Joes hockey.
Yes, we're excited about the future. When I took over in the head job, it was communicated to me, and I communicated to the athletic director, Kevin Butler. We agreed that the goal was to build St. Joe's hockey into one of the top programs in the state. That's what we wanted to do, and we decided on the steps we would take to get there. And the first step was to get all the kids to buy in, because if the kids don't buy in, everything is for naught. And the kids really have bought in, and especially the underclassmen. So we're very excited about the future, and what the future holds for the program.
Right. Coach, is there any one particular kid that had to start this year that you were like, you weren't sure what you were going to get out of him, and he's really surprised you? Because the one thing I've seen when your team plays is all these kids step up all the time. There's never one that's dominating. Everybody kind of picks each other up, and they all kind of contribute. Was there one particular player that you were like, you know what, this kid has really been a big impact for us this year?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about an underclassman who really made us feel that way.
Right.
But every kid, we've just been impressed by every kid, how they've shown up ready to work every day, ready to try kind of change the story with St. Joe's hockey, and really improve the outcomes of our games. And all the kids have really stepped up as a unit, as a team, and I think that's what's made a difference. Obviously, the record still this year isn't as great as we would have liked it to be. We felt, as a team, that there were a couple games that we should have won, that, we kind of let our foot off the gas and we didn't finish the game hard. And, we've tried to learn that lesson. So hopefully this latter half of the, season, we really pick that up and change that. But we're excited. Tomorrow we've got Fairfield.
Yeah.
We were up on Fairfield with a minute and a half left before they tied it and won in OT. And we're excited for this game. We really are.
Right. And Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the last road game tomorrow, right? And then you're home the rest of the way. So that's pretty huge for you guys as well. You get to play home, and that could be a big difference, not having to travel as far, and keeping the kids loose and stuff.
Yeah, I believe it is. I'm not
right.
sure, but I think it is. But yeah, we're very fortunate on the road. The school provides a bus. We have meals on the bus for after. They're pretty pampered on the road games. So,
right.
But having a home crowd definitely does help. So now that we're able to get some fans in the stands and some of their peers at school come to the games, it's definitely a benefit to play at home.
Right. And Coach, let me ask you this. I know in basketball and baseball, you have to win 8 games to qualify for the tournament. How does it work for hockey? Do you have to win 8 as well?
No, that is not the rule for
Right.
hockey. So because of the numbers in Division One, I believe this year every team will at least get seeded into the state tournament.
Oh, okay. And that's the thing too, Coach, that right now I believe you guys are 3-10, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
you still have 7 games left, and anything could happen. You definitely could improve on that, but you can get into the tournament and a new season starts. Anything could happen. So
Yes.
that's probably the message you coaches will send to these kids once the season ends, that forget about what the regular season record was. Now this is a new season. Go out there and just play.
Yeah, the kids all realize that. The first 5 games we played against the other D1 FCAC teams, we lost by 1 goal each game, except I think Greenwich, there was an empty netter as well. 2 of them were in overtime. So we know as a group that we can play with any team in the state. We know we can beat any team in the state if we play our game for the full 45 minutes of the game. And we've had to learn some lessons the hard way this year. But we're excited about, these next games coming up and really showing what we can do in the tournament.
Right. And Coach, I apologize if I get the team wrong, but wasn't it New Canaan you guys pulled the upset off this year? There was one team.
Darien.
Yeah. That was a big win for you guys. And, you'd had back-to-back wins, which really helped. So this team, you can never go by their record, because they are a lot better than maybe the record indicates. And it's like you said, they could play with anybody and beat anybody on any given night.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So that Darien game was special. I coached youth hockey in Darien as well, and I coached the U18
Right.
Tier 2 midget team. So I coached a lot of those kids. So they're all great kids, and I know the coaching staff well. So that was a special game for me personally, and I know the kids really stepped up for that game. So.
Right. I know, Coach, the outcome wasn't what you wanted last week, but I got to tell you, that game against Trumbull, I mean, that felt like you can name any rivalry in the state of Connecticut, whether it's football, basketball, whatever it is. That was exciting to be there last week. I mean, the fans were really juiced up. Everybody was pumped up. It was a great game just to be a part of. And I'm sure for your kids playing in it, it was special. And for you coaching in it, it had to be a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, that was a great atmosphere in that rink. There were a ton of kids from both schools there, a ton of parents, and a ton of old, alumni, and it was a fantastic atmosphere. The kids were really amped up for the game. I thought we played really well that game. The puck we couldn't score enough. Adam Gutman played really well for Trumbull. Their whole team played really well. We have a good, respectful rivalry with them. A lot of kids know each other and play with each other in the off season. I'm very good friends with Coach Greg Maxey and his assistant coaches, Coach Cooper and Nick Watson. So, we respect each other, but when we're on the ice against each other, there's hate. And the schools, definitely have a rivalry. And, it was a great game, fun game. So fun to be a part of. A shame we couldn't pull it out, but they played hard, and you can't take anything away from them. They worked hard, and they won.
Right. Coach, as I look at your team, I don't really see many weaknesses at all. And they play hard all the time to give 100%. So there's really not one thing that is a weakness on this team. Is it a little disappointing because the record isn't what you hope for? Because these kids really have played hard every game, and they've played well enough to win every game as well. I would never say they lost the game because they didn't care or they're not trying hard, they're not giving an effort. And I wouldn't even say that coaching is a problem either. I just think that, unfortunately, it seems to come down to the last minute and you just come up short. Is it frustrating sometimes? Or?
Yeah, it is frustrating, but I think that there's a lot. The coaching staff and the kids, we watch film, we study the game after every game. And so inside the room, we know some things we could have done better each game. And sometimes it does come down to, a careless error here or there that can change the momentum, change the tide, or, thinking you're not involved in the play just because the puck's not around you.
Right.
We've learned a lot of those lessons. So, it's frustrating, but, hopefully those losses early in the season will teach a lesson that will pay off and help us out later in the season when the games really count.
Right. So, Coach, let me ask you, I know there's a JV team and there's been several JV games this year. There's not a freshman team at the moment, correct?
No, we don't have the numbers for that.
Right. Have the numbers and stuff. And so, Coach, let me ask you, going forward with St.Joes hockey, I mean, like you said, you want to produce a winner, you want to make it a respectable program, but going forward, maybe looking 2 or 3 years down the road, where do you want St.Joes hockey to be?
Numbers. It starts with numbers, getting more kids into the program, making it an attractive place to play. The Riverhawks, who are the youth organization in our home rink, they haven't had a Bantam team in, I think, 3 years now.
Right.
So that's been tough. But the more success we can have as a program, the more kids will want to play at St.Joes when they get to high school. And so what we've been focusing on is changing the culture in order to kind of breed that success. And as we have more success, kids will want to come. And, maybe one day we'll get to the numbers that, a Fairfield Prep has at their tryouts or an ND West Haven has at their tryouts. And that will make it, much, much easier to be very competitive with those programs.
Right. I think the most important thing too, Coach, is the support you get outside of hockey. The administration's been very supportive. Yep. The fans have been very supportive. The parents have been great, stuff like that. When you don't have to, when everybody's making it easier for you and not difficult, it definitely makes your job as a coach that much easier.
Yeah, I really don't have to deal with anything negative at all. Again, my boss, the athletic director, Kevin Butler, and I are on the same page. We're both pulling a rope towards the same goal. The school's been great with supporting everything we're doing as a program. I have a great team manager, Gina Carafa, who's a parent to
Yeah.
Captain Johnny Carafa. And, she deals with a lot of the mundane kind of questions and scheduling and things like that kind of keeps me out of that. And, I really don't have to deal with anything else besides the hockey part of it.
Right.
The way we like to keep it.
Right. So with 7 games left, Coach, of course you'd want to win all 7. But realistically, is the goal to try to finish 4-3 these next 7 games? What is your goal for
the goal? Is to win every game. So
right.
That's how we approach every game. That's that's the goal. Every single game is to win the game. We believe we're capable of winning all of these games we have left on the schedule, and that's how we move forward.
Right. Well, Coach, I want to appreciate you for giving me a few minutes today. I really wish you guys the best of luck the rest of the season. It's always enjoyable to watch you guys play. And these boys, like I said, have been playing their hearts out all year. And I really hope you guys go far in the tournament. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And I look forward to watching you the rest of the season. So thank you again for coming.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great night. Thanks again.